Jean-Pierre Adams was once a name that resonated with power, charisma, and excellence in French football. Born in Dakar, Senegal in 1948, Adams grew up in France, where his football talent quickly became evident. He was a force on the field, a defender whose presence was impossible to ignore. His strength, skill, and leadership made him a standout at clubs like OGC Nice and Paris Saint-Germain. Adams wasn't just a player, he was a symbol of pride and determination, representing the rising influence of African players in European football at a time when diversity was still a rarity on the pitch. For Nice, he made over 140 appearances, anchoring the defense with a combination of power and grace. His time at Paris Saint-Germain further solidified his reputation, as he played a key role in shaping the club during its formative years. On the international stage, Adams earned 22 caps for the French national team, becoming one of the first black players to wear the French colors. His partnership with Marius Trésor, forming the formidable La Garde Noire, the Black Guard, was a turning point in French football history. He was a player who commanded respect, not just for his abilities, but for what he represented, a new era in the sport. But on March 17, 1982, his life took a devastating turn. What was supposed to be a routine knee surgery, a simple procedure to repair a damaged tendon, became the start of a nightmare. The day of the operation, the hospital in Lyon was chaotic. A strike by medical staff had left the hospital severely understaffed, but the surgery went ahead regardless. The anesthetist, overwhelmed and responsible for 8 patients at once, was aided by a trainee who later confessed that the responsibility was too much to bear. In those critical moments, a series of mistakes were made, errors that would cost Jean-Pierre Adams almost everything. During the procedure, something went terribly wrong. The anesthetic was mismanaged, leading to a catastrophic cardiac arrest. The oxygen supply to Adams's brain was cut off, and in an instant, this vibrant, larger-than-life man was plunged into a coma. A routine operation had turned into a tragic event, one that would steal Jean-Pierre Adams from the world for 39 long years. When he was discharged from the hospital after 15 months, it was not to a care facility, but to his home in Nîmes. It was there that his wife, Bernadette, took on the immense responsibility of caring for him. Her love and devotion were nothing short of extraordinary. For nearly 4 decades, Bernadette was at his side every day. She fed him, clothed him, changed his bedding, and even celebrated his birthdays, buying him presents as though he could open them himself. She never once considered turning off his life support, never wavered in her belief that as long as there was life, there was hope. Bernadette Adams became a living testament to the power of love and devotion. The nurses who occasionally visited reported that Adams showed subtle signs of awareness when Bernadette was near. Perhaps it was just a change in his breathing or a slight shift in his expression, but it was enough to suggest that on some level, he knew she was there. For Bernadette, these small signs were a lifeline, a whisper of the man she had loved so deeply before tragedy struck. As the years passed, justice for what happened to Jean-Pierre was painfully slow. It wasn't until the mid-1990s that the anesthetist and trainee were held accountable for their negligence. The punishment was shockingly light, a 1-month suspended sentence and a fine of €750. For Bernadette, there was no real closure. The hospital never apologized for the mistake that had shattered their lives, leaving her with a wound that time could never heal. On September 6, 2021, after 39 years in a coma, Jean-Pierre Adams passed away. His death marked the end of a life that had been tragically cut short, not by injury on the field, but by a preventable error in a hospital. The news of his passing reverberated throughout the football world. Paris Saint-Germain honored his joie de vivre, charisma, and experience, qualities that had made him beloved by teammates and fans alike. OGC Nice announced that they would pay tribute to Adams at their next home game against Monaco, a gesture of respect for a player who had given so much to the club. Nîmes Olympique, another club he had played for, expressed their deepest condolences to his family, acknowledging the profound loss they had suffered. But Jean-Pierre Adams' story is not just one of loss. It is also a story of extraordinary resilience, of a woman's unwavering love, and of the quiet strength that kept a family going through the darkest of times. Bernadette's devotion to her husband, despite the unimaginable burden she carried, is a reminder of the incredible capacity for love that exists within the human spirit. The life of Jean-Pierre Adams is a powerful reminder of how fragile life can be, how quickly everything can change. His legacy is not just that of a footballer who achieved great things on the field, but of a man whose life, though tragically interrupted, was lived with dignity and love. As we remember Jean-Pierre Adams, we honor not only his achievements, but also the profound impact his life had on those who knew him and on the world of football. His story, though filled with sorrow, is one that will continue to resonate, a testament to the enduring power of love and the human spirit.